Karmic lesson, gender. Um, I don't even know where to start with this one. So when I was still a child in heaven, um, I had other younger brothers. I don't think we have a lot of ladies. The only females I remember was my older sister, who I've never met. She had, by the time I was born, she was still on some mission somewhere, had been there for a while. Uh, then I know of my other warrior sister who taught me how to fight. Was there another woman? No, there were the only two. And then I know of, I'm not sure about me. Why? Because I hadn't decided whether I'm a female or a male when I was still in heaven. As I was growing up, I grew up to what you would call a. It's not even a teenager. Is it a teenager? Teenage? Yeah. Yeah, but I was about to, when I came to Earth, I was about to um, decide, get to a stage of decision, of deciding whether I want to be male or female, right? And some of my older brothers before me, I couldn't tell whether they were male or female. They were just so pretty as well. And I didn't have, except for mother and father, right? Seeing mother and father, I could see my brothers and sisters in that way, that they were like more like my mother or more like my father. The concept of gender wasn't like a thing. It was more like um it wasn't like a big deal. It's a thing. It is a thing. Don't be fooled by these people who tell you God is only one gender. The fact that you're created in his image, right? His image is male and female, right? Meaning he has a female energy and he has a masculine energy. But they are actually split. There is Elohe, God Mother, and he is Elohim, God Father, the Creator. Elohe, God Mother, the Architect. So yes, they use the same concept to create us, but they are split. There's one person who runs around like a man, and there's one person who runs around like a female, like a woman. They are like that. Although in the beginning, when Father God created himself, in the beginning when Father brought himself into existence consciously, so he came in an energy of a masculine, or maybe you could say yeah, because in my head, when I go back to the visions that he was showing me, he was more masculine. The voice, the feeling, the energy was more what I would call masculine in this environment. So there's no such a thing as there's no gender. No, there is a gender thing. It is a thing, right? It is a thing, a male and a female. And they created us in their image. And they created other beings in different images, right? They were creative that way. You know what people call reptilian and Anunnakis and whatnots. They were created by the same creator, by the way. The genderless societies as well, they were created by the same creator. He is that creative. Don't put him in a box and say, oh, he won't create a female. Fuck you. You won't create a female. He would. Oh, he won't create genderless society. He would. Maybe you can't. So sit down. Don't put the creator in a box. He's that creative. You know, I just had a very weird vision in my head and I was like, I'm so naughty. I'm like, In my head, I was like, if he wanted to create you with your dick on your forehead, he could do that. Oh goodness, I just had another thing like there could be a society that exists that looks like that. Oh no, stop me. Okay, anyway, so there is a gender thing, but at the same time, it's not a big deal like humans make it out to be. They make it out to be that it is a fast rule. You choose, you're born a certain way, you have the certain features, therefore you're a female, right? In heaven, I had brothers who are older than me, right? Who I wasn't sure, they were also still deciding whether or not they're gonna be male or female. But by the time I left, they were female. They were not female. They were more masculine. I think they're twins actually. But it's funny thing with them as well. They're twins, but one looks Asian and the other one looks. I don't know what to call it. Maybe more um like Italian type of a olive type of a kind of a Kelly-ish, a little bit Kelly hairish. That was weird. It's like they don't look what it wasn't weird for me when I was in heaven. They just were the way they were. But when I'm here, when I think about them, I'm like, because they were closest to me. They were the younger ones, and I just connected more with them than the others. And maybe Yeshua sometimes when he wasn't keeping to himself so much. But um, my other brothers and sisters were always busy, always on missions, always coming back. 2 minutes they're there, 2 minutes they're gone. Um, and they had like solidified their choices, what they would look like, but not all of them, right? Um, uh, there was one brother who looked very much what you would call, is it a brother? Yeah, a brother who looked very much like a Indian kind of person. um, and he doesn't look like that always. That day he looked Indian when I saw him, and then he might come back tomorrow looking different. It's like a fluid state. They decide to change themselves however they want, but there is like a theme. There not a theme, like a solidness about who they are. They look like themselves, but in different versions of ethnicity. Same as mother looks like everyone. Mother has many varied ethnicities. They continuously change. Her face is continuously changed. Same as father, but father keeps more of a same kind of feel. uh, but anyway, in terms of gender, I hadn't decided whether I was a male or female. And although as I was growing older, I was becoming more. Maybe that's why when I came to Earth, I was more of a tomboyish kind of a child. Because when I left heaven, Father said she needs to leave now before she grows into a stage where she will start to decide what gender she really needs to be. Like I was gonna move into a stage of life where of existence where now I can be like, okay, I'm female, or no, I don't like being female. I want to be male, right? But at the time when I was young, I wasn't like forced, or I didn't feel like, and I think it comes to you gradually. It's not something that it happens in the stages. It's just you can grow into teenage years without really deciding what gender you are. It's not a thing. It's not a thing like that. It is a thing, but it's also not such a an important thing like that. I lived, not lived. I spent a lot of time with my father when I was in heaven because I had to be prepared for the mission, and I was the youngest. He was always the one who's at home. Mother was always somewhere. in, I don't know where in the spirit world, but she's a busy woman, right? And father is a busy man, but he's at home in his workshops, his office. So I'm always like around the house doing God knows what. But I hadn't decided whether I'm gonna be female or male. And therefore, even now I have both femininity and masculinity in equal measure. I think, I don't know, somehow I'm thinking it probably translated into my physical existence as well. But I was designed that way as well. I was programmed that way. Father needed me to be in that energy for a reason, in both masculine and feminine, in a reason for a reason. And there are many other people that I'm getting that there are many people who are like that. And that's another trick of your spirituality, is to get your balance, to get those two states balanced, your feminine and your masculinity to be balanced. That is, you shouldn't be, for your spirit to operate, you have to be balanced. That is, you have to have both equal measures of whatever energy it is. Your energy must just flow. When you need femininity, you go there. When you need, it's like that infinity sign. When you want a femininity, when you want a masculinity, you just flow within those states, and you exist somewhere in the middle of that eight figure. You're there. You're just there. You're just operating on that level. That's when your program is stable. You're not trying too hard to be feminine. You're not trying too hard to be masculine. You're balanced and you look feminine. You're balanced and you look masculine, and you are masculine. You're able to know when to be more, when a situation requires your masculinity more. You're able to know when the situation requires a little bit of your softness as well. But in your normal state, you're very balanced. You don't look at people and be like, oh, she's a feminine, oh, she's a masculine, oh, she's a what. You just look at them as being people. When that person approaches you and says, yeah, I want to be I want to work in the mines, you don't be like, you a female. No. you know when somebody comes to you and says, when it's a guy and he comes to you and says, I want to be a nurse, you don't go like, well, that's not a job for men. You know, you accept that they might just be in their, more of their softer feminine side, right? And that doesn't also mean that, I mean, Gabriel is a Gabriel. Why do I forget the the angels? It's just another topic that I need to touch on. Yes, this is Gabriel, the medicine man, right? He's doing medicine. Oh no, doctors are doing medicine. Men are being doctors. But the female as well is a nurse, right? Doctors can, I mean, nursing is also medicine, right? You could look at it that way. But he's doing his job in his balanced state. And when it comes to gender as well, when God creates a program which perhaps when he created you as a program, he um, wanted you to be more in your masculine because of the role that you're going to play. That program, the role that it's going to play, it's going to be a more uh, masculine energy, right? Yeah, it will create you as a masculine. And if it's a program that needs to be more in a feminine state, he will align that, your look, to your feminine state, so to speak. But it's not to say you don't have your masculinities as well. You do. It's just you need to be in balance and be a female at the same time, but be balanced and be a male at the same time. And Sometimes your program can reincarnate as a female. That is, you're created as a male. You are actually a male program, a masculine program, right? However, you reincarnate onto the physical, or what into the physical as a feminine. You know why? Because your mission, right, in disguise, your mission to for you to carry out your mission, you need to be in disguise. And the best disguise is for you to be in your feminine as a woman. You need to be a woman in order for you to achieve your mission, right? Because just God chose and says, okay, so and so, you're going to go to Earth, you're going to do this mission. However, to infiltrate the environment and to blend in with the environment, you're going to need to be a feminine, right? And you'll be like, okay, that's fine. You come through, you reincarnate, and you're a feminine. However, you remember your program, right? That program, your spirit is actually a spirit of a masculine. And you wonder why some women are more coming off as a masculine, right? Or they decide that, you know what, uh, there's my counterpart, and my counterpart is also a feminine. That is, the person who's created to be with you in this mission is also a feminine. Meaning you're gonna have if it's your counterpart and you are programmed to have a romantic relationship as well. That is, it's your counterpart. You will have that romantic relationship most of the time. It will come easy for you guys. Therefore, you're gonna be in a same sex kind of a relationship. The same thing with men as well. You could come here, but the thing is, in that relationship, some program there, one of the programs is actually feminine. It's actually a feminine program. And one of the programs is a masculine disguised for the mission as a feminine. Sort of. Something like that. I wouldn't call it disguise. Yeah, I think it's a disguise because I had to do some different, not a disguise as such, but yeah, let's call it a disguise, right? Because you could be a God program in a sense of you could be a divine being coming through for a specific mission, because not only divine beings, most of the time, divine beings are ones who come for missions. And when you come for a mission and they're like, you know what, the best way for you to infiltrate the environment to do what you need to do, you need to apply some form of, they will trust you more if you're a feminine. And you come in as a feminine, but you still have that masculinity in you. And when you see your counterpart as a woman, you're attracted to your counterpart because there's a connection between the two of you. She's a woman, you look like a woman, right? It's just how you look here. You are a woman here on the physical, but your energy towards that feminine is masculine. And not even masculine in that sense of masculinity. It's just masculine. It's just you're a counterpart as well. It doesn't have to be that you're masculine. You could still also be female. There's nothing wrong with that. And have that relationship, or what you call same-sex relationship. Same thing with a male. I've seen, this is why I've seen some, now it makes sense to me sometimes when you see some very masculine looking kind of men, right? And they are also still with dating another masculine, not masculine, but a man who looks like a man, right? And you're wondering what is going on there. It could be that one of them is feminine. It's actually feminine reincarnated into a in the physical as a man. There's that softness in him that only the counterpart, the one who's designed for him, will notice. Not only him, but he could be noticed by other masculines, right? But this is why you will have gay, is a gay or same-sex type of relationship. There's no such a thing as, oh, and I don't like it when people say God won't create gays. No, religion says shit like that. Again, who the fuck do you think you are putting a limit on what God, the creator, can do? Just because of you're fucking limited in that fucking Christian robe of yours and you call yourself some fucking whatever it is, priest, whatever it is, doesn't make you fucking, the authority here. You don't have that fucking authority. Well, unless you are given that authority. But you have to remember your spirit. If you remember your spirit and you understand what your spirit does, you could be authoritative in that essence. But how are we going to know? Because people who talk like that are normally low vibrational, right? As a priest, you are. You're limited in your thinking. You're limited in your thinking by the fact that you're limiting God to say God can't create, children like this. God can create. God does not create. It's us who mistakes in a sense. It's us who do something wrong to sometimes he actually does that in a program, by the way. But what I've seen with him is that he knows how to use, he never stops the creation from happening how it happened. What he does is he goes further with his programming and knows how to use whatever it is that we see as an imperfection, how to use that as a power, how to train that person to use that as a power. This is why you need to align with your program. That's why you need to align with source, the universe, God himself, and align with your purpose so that you're able to see. Let's just say you're a baby born as you were twins, and what do you call joint twins, right? And obviously something went wrong in your physical and in your coming through, right? And in order for you to be who you need to be, to understand why God would give you that kind of existence in this physical, you need to know, you need to connect with the universe. You'll see it for what it is, and you'll see what your purpose was. You can still achieve that mission looking the way you do look. It's just that humans have this fixation on how people look. Seriously, it's kind of boring. Oh, they are reptilians, they look like reptiles and what, and you look down on them for some reason. They have their own issues as well. I'm not saying anybody is perfect, right? They got their own issues. We have our own issues as a physical human being kind of issues. Other races or yeah, also have their own issues. But we shouldn't be saying things like, oh, they got fat feet, big feet or something like that, therefore they're not good enough. They are there for the big feet are there for a reason. They probably survive better with big feet where in a different environment. It's I think we are doing it, but I was about to say it's amazing how we don't discriminate against things like fish, right? Although it's an animal plant, it's a earth animal, that is, so we've learned to accept them, but they're also beings, they're also animals. They're animals in a sense of they're animals, but they're also programs. You can look down on them and then somebody else be like, oh, I'm gonna have a pet, I'm gonna have a fish pet, and they have this amazing connection with each other. You find this person who has a pet and it's a fish, and they can almost like understand each other, and you wonder why. Because that person has moved beyond his physical self and connected with another species. Or a dog. Fish is too far. The dogs. People look at their dogs and they feel like they are humans. Like these people could be just humans. These dogs could be just humans, I mean. So, um, I cannot speak to the classifications of the recent classifications of gender in the physical. That is, all these, I don't know, I don't even see, or I've tried to understand the gay people, gay, or I don't know what's the right term even. And I think a lot of people are in a position of being sensitive about saying anything about it because people are so sensitive about it, right? Um, what is it? The LGBTQ movement, and I don't know why there's such a. Okay, I understand, but I feel like it could have been hijacked as well. This whole movement by demonic entities, in a sense of, why are you fighting so much? Why are you fighting so much? Why do you feel you need to be validated by anybody? As a LGBTQ whatever person, you need to ask yourself that question. But at the same time, the people who are against this whole thing is, who the heck do you think you are? Who gave you authority to validate anyone? Motherfucker, you can't even validate your fucking self. Most of these people who are trying to validate someone else, they don't fucking know themselves as well. They don't know what is their spirit. They don't understand their spirit. They don't understand whether they are really a feminine or a masculine. And those are some of the things that you're gonna remember when you start going back into waking up, remembering who you are, remembering what your program is. You'll remember like I do, if you have been around, like if you are from somewhere, which planet you're from, what did you look like, were you a male, were you a female, did you come from a planet which has, are you a human before, or did you come from a different race? Yeah, the different race. You will remember all those things, and you will know who you are, and you will validate yourself, and only God can validate the rest. Fuck everyone. Okay? Because they don't know you, they didn't program you, they didn't create you. Only God can tell you who you really are. Only when you align with God, only when you align with your purpose, only when you start remembering, oh my goodness, I am this program, I'm from this planet. I was sent here by God to come and assist here with this and this work. I forgot. Anyway, I'm awake now. What do we do next? That's your spirit team, and between you and your spirit team and God, what it is that your mission was, and you move on to that. You forget about all these people who are trying to they react in that way because of they also don't know who they are. And I'm not going to act like I have been to be honest, if I were to be honest, I never really like to follow this whole thing of LGBTQ things. For some reason, gay people never fucked with me like that. I don't know why. I always thought maybe I'm too feminine for them, or maybe I'm too masculine for them, or whatever the case may be. It's something that I have. I don't think they also do that with everybody. They have their people, right? And I never understood it when some people are like, oh, this gay people, the people who keep gay friends, like they have this relationship with gay people, which is kind of like a special kind of relationship. That's who they are. So there are people who live like that. Some people will be like, oh, you need to have one gay friend or something like that. I could never have a gay friend like that. Um, Actually, my ex is, I don't know what the right term is, so I'm going to use what I think, a homosexual. Or is it not a homosexual? No. Homosexual sounds like you're cussing. I don't know why. Just let's just say he's gay. However, I don't know what gay is, to be honest. I don't know if a gay is an action, like when people are like, oh, and I don't know if the whole group, I don't know. I never really got interested in it because it doesn't matter to me. I just see people, right? And my ex, I knew even when I was with him that he has both for he's attracted to both male and female. And at the time when I was awake, it was when I was still young, right? When I was younger, I was still awake. I was walking earth awake. I asked Father, is there a problem for me and him to be in this? Father's like, no. It's not an issue of sexuality. It has nothing to do with that. He is your soulmate. You are here to, he didn't go further than that, but basically he's my soulmate. Him and I were supposed to see if we can fit together. That is, he can become a counterpart. But he was my soulmate. Whether he can become a counterpart or not, that was the trick. That he had his own separate mission, and I had my mission. But Father didn't feel this person can be part of this mission of mine, the one that I came with many other, who I have many other counterparts in, right? And so far I know of only males, right? And I also know that in that counterpart relationship, there is a male to male relationship in my counterparts, right? That is, they are my counterparts, but there are also some who are male to male relationship, and that's not a problem. It is what it is, right? And I don't know why people are like making this such a big deal. It's like you're a program, okay? Get over yourself. I'm on a mission. My mission is to come here and help bring this environment into solid state. Antivirus is here to come and do his part with antivirusing. Debugger, same thing. We need storage for the information. We need recycle bin for recycling some information. We need troubleshooter to troubleshoot the system, right? And whoever else that Father believes is we need, uh, we will need in our mission, he will add and remove as such. When you remember that you're a program, you forget about this. Oh, I'm such a female. Oh, I'm such a male. You'll do what you came here to do in your maleness and your femaleness, whatever you want to call it. You'll achieve it, whether you're a female. You'll go and, I don't know, do something that these males will never believe a female will do, because that's part of your mission. Father probably wanted to show the world that just because of a female is here, like me, for instance, just because of it's a female doesn't mean I won't be able to send her to do a mission like this. My grandmother, my great grandmother, I am doing a role, some of the roles that I'm playing. One of the roles that I'm playing is what my great grandmother was playing as well. But she was suppressed, just like me. She was suppressed not to do this. She was also, let me think, she was also a healer, right? She came here as a light. She was a light, right? Father, ancestors. My grandmother was a light as well. She was who I was supposed to take over the position from, right? And my great aunt hijacked that position, killed her mother, and hijacked the position. So she was a female, and part of her, what is it? What do they call birthright? Is what is now called Freemasonry. She was supposed to be in the lead position in that organization. But because of she was female, and at the time when she was being a light, she was a female, and at the time females are not believed to be anything, right? She wasn't encouraged to act in that position. She was more encouraged to hide that fact because there was no way they're gonna let a woman lead them, right? And they thought that they could do the same shit with me, right? And I guess the era has changed in such a way that, um, and I don't think even if I came at that time, I would have given a fuck. I don't know. I'm that kind of person. But when I came here, obviously everybody's gonna be like, she's a woman, you know. Especially the I can just imagine the priests, all these religious leaders. Fuck you. They're gonna be like, she's a woman. What does a woman know? Where was that cut? Where was it? Um, what movie is that? So someone would say something like that. Oh, I forgot it. This desert kind of a movie. Mummy, the mummy. There's a part where this guy is asking this other. They're going on this whatever excursions or whatever, and this person's like, "Do they know something we don't know?" The other guy says, "They're led by a woman. What does a woman know?" Yeah. So sometimes Father is sending to change our perception as well. Humans have been so suppressed to believe bullshit so much that sometimes Father takes these opportunities like this to send a child, to send um, someone who doesn't look physically strong, or someone who is um, disabled, or someone who is a drunk, or someone who curses a lot like me. He will send such a person that, I mean, look at my brother, Jesus, right? Yeshua. He turned water into wine, you know. And I was like, I used to say, and I hope it's not gonna kill me for that. I was like, so Jesus was a fucking drunk. I used to say that when I was younger. I used to say, like, this man looks like he was like a party kind of a let's get merry and drink to our heart's content kind of a person, right? It's like, what? There's no wine. Hold my divinity. And he turns water into wine. So what? Right? Someone can look at him and be like, this man. And he used to, what did he say? You must drink until it's a sin not to drink. Something like that. Like it's a sin if you drink and you don't get wasted. This is why I said, so this man was a. I don't want to repeat it. But I used to think like that. But he used to be my hero in that way. I was like, yeah, you know, he wasn't perfect. There's no such a thing as perfect. You're perfect in your own imperfections. No such thing as perfection. No such thing as reality. No such thing as perfection. It's only perfect until it's not perfect. It's only perfect until it doesn't work anymore and it's be like, it's not perfect. Just like this environment, it worked until it didn't work anymore. And this is why you have upgrades. With any programming, you need upgrades because time moves on. The system learns, people learn, people grow, people expand, the system expands. Therefore, we cannot contain everything in there. Therefore, we need an upgrade. Sorry, some systems are bigger. Some people are divine, they become divine. They need a bigger system to carry them. Storage needs to grow. Storage needs to wake up and fucking grow. He needs to answer the call as well. I don't know. I think he has. But yeah, you know what I mean? So, um, yeah, you could be sent here and you could look away, but only to find that your spirit is actually is designed or programmed as a male. And I think sometimes these people feel this connection, not feel this connection. They feel their gender. And the reason why they tell you to shut up as a gay person, to not talk about how you can sense that you're actually male in a female body or you're a female in a male body, something like that. I think there's that kind of a program or spirit. It's because of they know that you are on a brink of connecting to the source, your divinity. I mean, not your divinity, but your purpose. Because if they allow you to be who you are, you will wake up to it. You'll see that shit. I am really this program, and I'm actually masculine in my spirit, even though I'm feminine in my physical. I'm actually masculine in my spirit. They don't want you to wake up. They don't want you to remember. So your body is your spirit is reminding you, hey, you're actually male. Remember. If they can get you to remember that your spirit is actually male, then you can remember the rest. And that's what they don't want. They don't want you to remembering the rest. This is why they say, what LGBTQ? What gay? There's no such a thing. God didn't create this type of programs. Well, they don't say programs, but God will never create. It's a what? It's an abomination or something like that. Oh, these big words. But that's the thing. It's like they know that you're connecting to intuition now. You're connecting to your when you feel very strongly about I know I look like this, but I actually feel like I'm this, not this. I wish I had I wish I could have a body that fits how I feel. I don't know how they think. I don't know how gay people think, but I'm just imagining. And I'm like, yeah, it's because your spirit is actually male. For me, my spirit wasn't decided at the time. I wouldn't, and that's what Father wanted because he didn't want me to remember that um, me being a female or a male. I look more female, to be honest. I thought I looked more like Father, right? Until I saw my face the first time, myself in the mirror the first time, and I looked more like Mother, and I was surprised, I was like, oh, I actually look like Mother. And not exactly like her, but more like her. Like in my family, more some people look like more like mother, some people look more like father, you know. And father is a little bit dark, not too dark, not darkish, isn't like, but he's he's dark. Mother is light, right? And some of his children, my brothers, my older brothers, are light. They look more like him. There's one who looks more like him, like father himself, but he look when you look at him, you will be like, oh, he's a white man, and when you look at father, you'll be like, oh, he's a black man, or he's got some African, if you wanted to, like some whatever. If we were to define it by physical definition of, oh, that's a black man, that's a white man, whatever, you would look like, you would think that. But when you look at them, they look like a black man. They are white, but they look like a black man. You know, like they have a little bit of it. The women as well look like, I think my sister looked more like my father, and she was more white, right? But not exactly white. It was more like she looked like a Greek person, kind of a person, you know. My warrior sister looked more Greek. If I were to bring it to Earth, um, and not every day. Sometimes she would look maybe white. Like they changed. You know, these older ones have had experiences, have been around, have come to this planet and been different things and different people, different looks. So they're able to change themselves however they want. For me, who hasn't been anywhere, I'm just imaging myself based on what I see in the house. So I probably feel like, oh, I look like mother, and then I look like mother. Oh, I look like father, then I look like father. You know, because I don't see anybody else. I didn't know anyone else. I haven't seen anyone else. Right. Whenever I come to Earth, I'll probably know what other, you know, how I could look. You know, more European, more you know, Asian, more um, South American, not, you know, different, more Indian, like Apache, more like Red Indian as well. I thought I looked like that sometimes, and it was interesting to learn that I actually have a ancestors. I apparently I was a, is it me? Yeah, and I always felt that. I always felt so connected with Apache people as well, that even Indian people in India, um, so much that I love their culture. I just and they tell me that I was once an Apache Indian chief's daughter in my previous life. So it happens, right? So now you're white. You could have been in other in this world many times, and you came as a black person, you came back as a Asian person. Who cares? This is why it's stupid for you to go and believe that any race is beneath you. This is like when you find out, ne? When you find out that uh, they beneath you, but you actually caused that. You used to believe in the way they live. You actually championed the way they are. You were one of the people who was there to champion the way they live. You were probably a chief, and you believe so much in you and your people and whatever, and you wanted them to feel proud, and then you come back and you're white, and you're like, yeah, I'm a white person. I don't know about those other ones. They look funny. It's like, okay. So don't look down on other people, right? Try not to look down on other people. But at the same time, bullshit needs to be called out. You know, this bullshit mentality, it needs to be called out. You know? And people need to be expected to be better, act better. This whole thing of, oh, this the time has passed, let's look forward, right? But then, okay, but then you still behave backwards. It's like when white people are like, for black people, wherever, you need to get over it, right? The time has passed, okay? We will get over it. But then there's still some white people who behave in a way that they would trigger black people to be like, you see, you know? So it's like that bullshit needs to be called out. You call it out and you expect better. You expect better. You call them out for what they are. Low vibrational facts. That is just what they are. Now we're gonna be cussing people about their vibration. Seriously, going forward, it's gonna be like you're just being a low vibrational motherfucker. F you. I think it's painful to be called that. Yeah, because if you need to expect them to be better. I do. I expect everybody to be better. I expect myself to be better. I know when I'm not being better. I remember I was like, I just had my karmic moment right there. And you keep watch of yourself like that, and you will be better. Nobody's expecting you to shine like that. From just in a short space of time. It takes time for you to grow up and be a better person. But anyway, yes, God does create a gay situation, but they're calling me to talk about something. Um, when I was here, Father came to visit as well, and he was showing me the history of my brother Yeshua, what happened to him. And he was taking me around. I think it was Israel, right? The events and what happened and all of that. This is where he wanted to show me what happened with Jesus to end up on the cross and what was happening behind the scenes, right? And how my uncle was hiding behind the scenes. That is my uncle, old man, obviously. That is the devil himself. And he wanted me to see it for what it was for myself, right? That Mary Magdalene is actually my imposter goddess sister. The woman who people can be so funny. Nobody's asking themselves, why does this woman just pop up out of nowhere? Why does a town pop up from nowhere? Jesus said himself, I used to pass there every day. I didn't realize there was a town, right? And all of a sudden she comes by and there's a town. You see what I'm saying when I say they pop up buildings? Do you see it? Do you see what I mean when I say with the Euro program? How the fuck did a town just pop up? No one is asking these critical questions when it comes to the fucking Bible, right? As much as it's a lie, sometimes you can't hide so many. Not a lie, as much as there could be lies. Sometimes you can't hide shit that way. If you really look at it, how does a town pop up? It explains why you're a program. It explains why everything is a problem. It pops up because they wanted to pop it up there. And how else are they going to do it in those ages? Are they going to come in the middle of the night, start building a town and having people act that way? No, they wrote a program. They wrote a program and inserted it and said, yeah, there's a town there. And this woman, is it Mary Magdalene? The Samaritan woman. Yeah. And she's there at the water well. Oh my goodness. Seriously, are we that? Anyway, no one asked themselves why Magdalene and her town just popped out of nowhere. And she just became so close with Jesus. And no one is asking anything. They never even got married, but they claim that Mary Magdalene was his wife and whatnot. No, John was. John the Baptist. This is why Jesus asked John to baptize him, because he knew that John is his counterpart. And John was what? Male. So what are you saying? Are you saying Jesus is gay? Whatever you want to call it. If you want to put labels on shit like that, that's your problem. All I know is that John is Sophia, Jesus' counterpart, reincarnated on earth as a male. But she came first to prepare for Jesus coming. She was supposed to also start the church or something, I think. She was supposed to start something. It's like my ex who came first before me, but he was not in my mission. But it is possible for people to come before the others. Sophia came first, and they decided that Sophia cannot be a leader, a religious leader in that era as a woman. So she had to reincarnate as a male and bring that knowledge. She also has her own gifts, her knowledge, right? And bring that knowledge. And Jesus was to join her, right? And they were to go and do this church thing. And what did they do? They made sure that Mary Magdalene is the handler, becomes the handler for Jesus, and Mary Magdalene never ever connects with John, right? Because they have given you this idea that there's no such a thing as gay. It started even then, right? There's no such a thing as a male and male relationship, right? So they had to keep that facade reality kind of a thing going on. They had to control that. This is why they kept them up separate, right? And then on top of that, what happened? They crucify Jesus, they crucify her as well. They crucify her upside down, and they crucify Jesus the way they crucified him. They crucified both of them. And what did they do to me? They tried to keep me away from my counterparts. They separated me from my counterparts from the ship that I was coming through here. And then when we got to Earth, they still made sure that I'd never get. I was working with my counterpart in the same office. The day when I started to try to wake up, this is when they created some confusion, and the next thing I couldn't talk to him. I called him because I had a dream about him the day before, and I felt compelled to say something to him about it. And as I was about to go and talk to him, my boss, who's I believe is an agent, comes and says something to him. It's like, come, quick. And this guy wants to be like, wait, I need to listen to her, right? And he's like, no, you have to come. And then I forgot that. I don't know what happened. I forgot. It's as if like they wiped my memory. And I kept trying to remember it. By the time I remembered it, I had already left the company. It was when I was going through my awakening as well, going towards my real awakening. That's when I remembered certain things. I was like, yeah, I remember. So they tried to make sure that I never meet with any of my counterparts. And I had a couple, right? And they're still trying that shit even now. And that's the thing, is that they think that I cannot run. I run anyway. My counterparts can be awake wherever they are and do their own thing. They don't have to be with me. That's the thing about counterparts. Counterparts can work independently. But they are more powerful when they come together. As in, like, not more powerful. They just work better. Well, maybe we should call it more powerful. But they don't have to be together to do their job. And my understanding is that's what's happening with them. They are all waking up and they're all doing what they need to do in their environments where they have them controlled as well. But me waking up, I pull all of them. They are my counterparts. The more I wake up, the more they wake up. They have no fucking choice. They will follow. They will wake up. This is what Mother says. I says, Mother, but then if you're going to link me with these people, the next thing, what happens when I wake up and I need to move forward and these people are behind? What if they have to leave them behind? Mother's like, that's not possible. I was like, how come? It's like, they are your counterparts. And it's like, it's as if like, she said it as if like that means everything, right? And I couldn't understand why. And I was like, what do you mean? She looked at Father first, right? Father is like looking at her like, you don't need to tell her. And she's like, I never signed up that deal that I will not help my daughter. You signed up that deal that you'll not help my daughter. I'm telling her. And she went like, counterparts pull each other. When you awaken, they will have no choice but to awaken. And they have enough energy. You have enough energy to pull all of them. That's my energy is able to pull all of them. And any one of you who wakes up is able to pull and wake up any one of you guys. It's like any one of us who wakes up is able to, when as soon as they wake up and they start moving in their spirituality, start discovering their spirituality, start waking up to their spirituality, start doing what they need to do, they jack every other being counterpart that they have. It's like, for instance, in a programming environment, if antivirus starts running, he's going to take away some of these viruses that are attacking us, that are keeping us in a low vibrational state. So whatever virus I have, antivirus will clear them, and then I'll be like, this environment seems different. What's going on? You see what I mean? It's like he cleared some of it. And then when I start waking up, I'll be like, just somehow feels lighter. And then I start remembering. And as I start remembering, somebody else starts waking up as well. It's like debug as well as like, heck, my problem, what's going on? Where am I? You know, any one of us who wakes up will wake the others up. But I'm able to also wake up on my own and pull everybody up, pull my counterparts. Because of the energy I have, I can pull all, I think there were 5 and more up to wake up. But then as well as if they wake up, their programs, if they run and they start doing debugging, start doing antivirus, and start recycle bin starts recycling his environment, troubleshooter starts running and trouble bloody shooting this place, I will wake up. I will wake up. They're able to carry me. The 5 of them are able to pull me. But I'm able to pull all 5 of them. But they're also able to wake me up, but not necessarily pull me that far. They can, if they work together. They're able to wake me up completely. But I'm able to wake all of them up, and they have no choice but to follow. When I move, they move. When I go up the spiritual timeline ladder, they are pulled. They have no choice. Their lives become a mess. They have no choice but to fucking wake up, because they will not be able to fit into that environment when they wake up. They'll see the environment being they won't be able to live in that environment because of the low vibrational state. Because of me waking up, I'm clearing all these issues in the system, right? And as I clear all these issues in the system, all these programs, big programs, you know, these God programs are gonna wake up, because they're gonna be like, okay, what are we doing here? You know, because me as a defragmentation, I'm starting to put back the system in order. Block by block, block by block, block by block. And as I do that, I'm clearing some of the blockages, some of the issues. All these programs which were blocked or sleeping, whatever, the system starts waking up. They wake up. So they don't want you to wake up. They don't want you to wake up to that feeling that you have, that I'm male. I'm a male spirit, or I was thinking of finding out what my spirit is. I feel like I have 2 spirits. I think one, or maybe more than one spirit. Feel like I have a dragon spirit, and I also have the main one that I remember when I was young was a wolf spirit. Was a wolf spirit. That one I remember. I remember her. I remember seeing her. I remember seeing through her eyes. I remember her trying to come out. That one I remember. But I'm also hearing that I have a dragon spirit as well. So yeah. So you need to know what your animal spirits are as well. My dragon spirit, I'm not sure. It has something to do with my counterpart, one of my counterparts, I think. Because there's somewhere where they're like, you're our queen or something like that. And I was like, then I remembered. I was like, I think I remember something about that. Yeah. But yeah. So people are going to remember all those things. What animal spirit that they have. and why you feel like that, why you feel that animalistic. Are you a bear? Are you a my grandmother, my great grandmother usually comes as a, is it a rhino spirit. She's a bulldozer, and she's just giving my family members. She's just bulldozing her way through this family members, this karmic family members. You don't want to fuck with a rhino, by the way. I don't even remember anybody having like a disrespect towards a rhino. If you're in Africa, you will never. It's like there's a saying that if you see a rhino, you know, you must get on a tree. Like no one says if you see a rhino, try to pet it. No, I've seen that thing chase cars and do some. Yeah, and I'm just imagining him, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's bulldozing them, and I'm like, yeah, that's my great grandmother. She usually comes out, but she came out as another animal as well. I don't remember. It's a small anyana animal or a bird. Was it a bird? Yeah, she also comes out as a spirit of some bird. I forgot the name of the bird, but yeah. And I think I also have a bird spirit as well. This is what I'm saying. I think I have a couple. Is it a phoenix? A phoenix or something like that? Yeah, something like that. Um, I think. But anyway. So the gender part, is it's a thing, but it's not what people think it is. It's not the same way I wasn't decided as to whether I'm a male or female before I came here. There's no fast rule about it. There's no hard and there's no hard and fast rule about your gender. You know, you can be fluid in that way if you wanted to. You know, and you must just be in balance. Even when you're a gay person, you must be balanced in your masculine femininity, and still act your feminine self or your masculine self, whatever you are, whatever you feel like being. Like there are moments when I have to be and act masculine, and I think it comes through even on in my sessions. Is that one minute I'll be like, all nice and sweet and whatnot, or I'll just be balanced, like I'm talking now. And the other minute I'll be like a girl, and I'll be like, oh, what. And then the next thing I'll be like, fuck you and whatever. Not to say that masculinity is about that, but I come off as very hard, you know. So when it calls for it, I bring my masculinity out. When it calls for it, I'm a female, too feminine. But when it doesn't call for anything, I'm just me. I'm just destiny, and I'm just moving in my purpose. But when I'm going to be with my masculine, I'm going to be very much in my femininity, right? And in this environment, if I'm not with my masculine, I'm probably going to be just a more balanced person. I'm balanced even when I'm in my femininity. I'll still be balanced in that way. It's almost like it all has to do with accepting yourself and not seeing negativity, whether you're female, it's like those moments when you act masculine, they're just moments, they're gonna pass. Those moments when you're acting feminine, they're just moments, they're gonna pass. But every other time, every other day, you should just be your ooh, deja vu. You should just be your balanced self. Exist within that eight, in that middle part, is that infinity flows between one end to the other, one end to the other, one end to the other. You just flow like that in energy, and you just there in the middle of that eight. You're just there in the middle of that eight. That's the best place to be. It's like you can hear me as well when I talk. When I'm in that state of balance, I'm just flowing, I'm just flowing, and just flowing. And then when I need to be my feminine, I'll sound a little bit more feminine. And when I need to be masculine, I'll sound a little bit more masculine. That's more or less what it's about. Some prefer to be in most their feminine more, and they might be guided to be more in their masculine because of they've been too into their feminine. They'll be like, hey, wake up. Your ancestors will be like, wake up. Don't let this man walk all over you. You know, you got your masculine side this time. You know, the auction part of you needs to wake up. You know, be active, do things, achieve things. Don't just be there and be like, oh no, I'm such a feminine, I can't achieve anything, I'm just gonna sit here and look pretty. They'll be like, you do have what it takes. You do have an action side of you, which is masculine action side of you. You can take action. I get told that a lot. But I also get told a lot to be like, try to balance yourself, where they like, sometimes they're like, be more in your feminine. So you always is a state that you always have to be flowing within. And you get used to it after a while. But when you understand it, is when you're going to be able to flow freely with it. But if you don't understand it, you're going to be, it's gonna run away from you every now and then. But when you start understanding it, it's very easy to get back to. It's like, now I'm being in my feminine. Okay, now I'm being in my masculine. Now I'm just me. You want to be just you most of the time. Just you. Just balanced. Doesn't matter whether you're gay or you're straight. Just balanced. And when your gayness comes out, your gayness comes out. When your feminine comes out, your feminine comes out. When your masculine comes out, your masculine comes out. And no one should be judging the other person based on that. We shouldn't be judging each other based on, oh, you know, but what do they call it? She's stubborn. Because my masculine is out. Because I'm in an environment where my masculine feels like I'm gonna come out now. I'm going to come out. You feminine, you sit there right at the back and let me handle this shit. That's all it is. Right? And when it calls for it, it's like, I need to bring out my feminine side. I'm not touching that. No ways. Me, no. It's like me, I'm like, I'm not doing gardening. And I love gardening. I want to. I'm urged, like, if I could just find time to do it between all these things that I do, I'm gonna do it. But then, yeah. It's like I look at it and I'm like, I wish I could just get gloves and an overall and go out there and just start pulling things out. But I have this thing of when I want to do something, I don't do it immediately sometimes. There will be time when I will be like, ah, and it just happens. That action side of me happens. But yeah, femininity, masculinity, your gender, that is. And the gender, I feel like the gender and your feminine and your masculine are not necessarily the same. You could be feminine in your energy or masculine, too masculine in your energy. You could be too much in your masculine side and too much in your feminine side, right? We all have both. We are all programmed with both. But depending on your mission, you might have to be in a feminine way, even though you were created more as a male energy, right? But a balanced male energy, that is when you need to be caring and nurturing, you will be. This is why men can take care of kids as well if they need to. This is why women can take care of kids as well if they need to. This is why my father was most of the time bring him, even though mother was there, right? I feel like mother was there. It's just that my memory is wiped. My memory of her has been wiped. And sometimes I remember some things about her, right? But most of the time I was with father. Or just doing my own naughty stuff. But most of the time I was with father and mother. But father was more like, um, I like to bother him like more than, people kept, like my brothers and sisters knew not to disturb him. I didn't have that rule of not to disturb. I didn't know it. Not that he has a rule. It's just that they left him to himself to tinker in his workshop and do what he needs to do. But me, I just went in and I he used to like chase me out as well sometimes. I would go there, ask him questions and like normal stuff. When kids ask you, "What are you doing? Why are you doing it?" I would be like that kind of kid, and he would explain things to me, and I would be like, "Huh?" And he'd be like, because he can't explain them because I don't have the experience. I haven't been in this kind of environment. Well, I have, but at the time when I was born, I hadn't been, right? So he couldn't explain things to me in a way that I would understand what he's talking about when he says earth, when he says human, when he says creator, when he says program. I knew program, but I couldn't picture it, right? So he used to say to me, "Don't worry, I'll add it to your karmic lesson when you go on your mission." That is, he will teach me about all this. Some of these things that I'm learning are basically the questions that I had as I was when I was a child in heaven about my life and my existence. And Father said to me, promised me that he will plan those lessons into my mission. And I'm just learning all the things that we spoke about, and I'm picking them up in this environment. I'm like, oh, so this is what Father meant. Oh, this is what it means. Yeah. But yeah, it is like that. I don't know what else to be talking about in terms of gender. Hopefully, it will expand in future, but so far, that's what I'm getting. The important thing for me that I've noticed and I've learned is that Father has no limits. He's an infinite, meaning he can create anything he wants and he can use anybody he wants. And he can do whatever it is that he thinks is going to achieve his mission. He can use whoever it is that he thinks can achieve his mission. He can use an old woman who is old and frail, you know. He can use someone who's blind. Anybody can be used. This is why you need to remember what your program was, so that you can start stepping into that purpose and doing what you need to do and enjoy your life and gain access to your gifts, access to your powers, and be joyous in this environment and stop living like I almost said program, but you are a program. Stop living, stop denying yourself things just because people told you to. Oh, I can't be gay because God does not create gay. Oh, I can't be happy because I didn't work hard enough to be happy. I can't be rich because I didn't work hard enough to be rich. There's no such a thing. We are all rich. That is true. Rich, not in, oh, you got a lot of Ferraris and whatnot and what. No. You're rich in energy. And that energy, what better, that energy can create for you Ferraris and whatever, mansions and whatever. So you can produce however many you want into existence. You don't let these low vibrational people who call themselves, what do they call they what do they call themselves like, these people who they say they run the world. Don't let those fuckers keep you in their level. They are very low vibrational and they want everybody else to be on their level. They know that if you go and remember, you're going to surpass them. There's one percentile who think they're controlling the world by keeping everything with them and whatnot. Don't mind that shit that they keep with them. The wealth that they think they're keeping with them. That's not yours. Do not mind that bloody wealth. They stole it anyway. But don't mind it. Focus on you and accessing your own wealth. And they don't want you to do that because they know when you do, that thing called a billion or a trillion is going to look like cent. That's what it's going to be. When you wake up, when you become who you need to be, that billion or trillion will become nothing. And they understand that. You will be so wealthy in spirit that you'll be able to create just like that. Money won't be a thing. It will be like, okay, I have money now, I'm gonna buy this. It won't be a thing too. It will just come. It will just flow in, you know. It will anything you want will flow in. I'm getting that I'm not accessing my stuff because Father has blocked them. Obviously he will block things for me, right? Because um I can't access them in this mission, right? It's my mission. He has a plan, and some of these things I cannot access them now because it doesn't work with the mission, so to speak. When the time comes, I will access them. I will see them, right? It's like sometimes when you don't see those gifts, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have access to them. It just means that in your purpose at that point in time, it is your program that God wrote for you doesn't bring that thing into your physical yet because it will disrupt you or it will make you not be able to focus on what you need to focus on. So something like that. It's like in my mission, what I'm going through now, if I had to access all my gifts like I accessed them before, right? If he had to release my things into the physical as I'm calling them, the when I'm calling them, it will be so much that I might not necessarily remember certain things. I might not necessarily see certain things. So he wants me to be ready for it. That's what they mean. That's what they meant. They kept saying, your stuff is there, but Father, God wants you to be ready to receive it. What they meant, sometimes these tarot readers are slow. Sorry, but what they meant is you might not be in a position to receive this stuff. Why? Because you have to see something, you have to have some knowledge so that when these things come, you don't lose them. You don't lose them because of you didn't see that your father is a thief, your mother is a murderer, your people around you just wants to kill you. That's what that's why it's not coming in. My father's like, if I bring you this, they're surely going to kill you because you're not going to be open. Your eyes won't be open. You'll see these things and you'll be like, wow, 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 and just go into it. And then when you turn, they're going to be stabbing you in the back again. So he needs me to be in a state of awareness of who I am, where I am on my mission, whether I'm working in my purpose, what does that mean? How do I go forward? All these things. And also, he wants them to be in a position of a kind in order for them not to be able to come back at me when I finally receive my stuff. He has a plan, right? He has a plan. It's a mission. It's planned. I've seen my mission being planned, right? So I know that there's a plan, and everybody has a plan. If you're here you're here, you have a planned purpose, a planned mission, planned destiny. Whatever it is, you have a plan. and you're walking, you need to walk in that plan and discover it and be like, oh, okay. And just because of this is why I never really understood or agreed with the co-creation. Is it co-creation? Is it co-create? Co-create and manifesting. I never believed in those things. I always thought that things come into to me at the right time when they need to come to me. Because all I did was, I like that. I think I want to have that. I think I want, and when it's right, they will come to me. And they could take a couple of months, sometimes it takes a couple of years, but they will come to me. I just say what I want, and Father makes sure it happens. But then it stopped happening when I was awakening, when I was going through my awakening, because Father wanted me to wake up. And the first thing I said, I was like, something is wrong here. I never, ever wanted for anything. When I ask for something, I get it. What the fuck is going on here? Where's my shit? And why am I losing things? And then I had to wake up to see it for what it was, that my family was fucking around with my gifts. I was like, oh, why? And then I had to remember. Eventually I remembered that I'm on a mission and these people are part of the agents and what. And I was like, oh. So this so-called, oh, you're going to manifest things in your reality. I don't see it that way. I think it's something that I want to talk about as well, because I have discussed this many times with Spirit, but I didn't understand what I was saying at the time. But now I think I'm understanding what I'm saying, or what I could be saying, and I want to go back to it again. So that was co-creation. I didn't understand what Spirit was saying, but I think I see it now. Manifest. Anyway, I gotta go and do my laundry. I'm doing laundry today, and I think it's ready to come out. Oh my goodness, that's why these birds and the environment is crying like this. I have been recording for 1 hour 27 minutes. Oh goodness, I'm going so far these days. But anyway, I was also touching on another subject, so I must be finished with gender. The next one will be what? Marriage. And then I'll touch on that co-creation and manifesting again some other time. Anyway, thank you, Spirit.